Hi there, Bob
Okay,
Boucher from Wild Rose Toastmasters, and my special guest today is our longtime member Inger Eakin, or sometimes known as Marie. Uh,
happy to be here, Bob.
I'm glad you made it too. It's been fun. Has it been a great summer?
It's been busy,
Okay.
not productive, but busy.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes that's the way it goes. So some of the people that let me just ask you, I'll ask you the same question I ask everybody when I'm doing this initially, is tell us a little bit about your Toastmaster journey and what brought you to Wild Rose.
It's all about the people. I joined Toastmasters because the guy I was dating had been told to join Toastmasters by his boss, and he said I had to go with him.
Really?
So, yes, so that's why I joined Toastmasters. I was open to it. I've never minded speaking in public.
Yeah.
Being succinct is definitely an issue. And as a result of that, I'm a charter member of Grand Prairie Morning Toastmasters.
Okay.
The club no longer exists, unfortunately.
Sad.
When I left Grand Prairie, I went back to the coast.
Okay.
And when I was going to the coast, Suzanne Bruton, who was the boss of my friend, she said, "Oh, you should go join Club 59
Oh,
on
okay.
the coast."
The
So
Hug-
I went,
the Huggy
okay,
Wuggy.
knowing no better. So I joined Club 59.
Yeah, Doug Anderson of the group.
Doug Anderson, Marg Hope,
Yeah.
John, all the people. And I really quite enjoyed it. And a lot of the people from Club 59 were a part of the Advanced Speakers Club,
Yeah. That's the one
which
I was above.
eventually I visited and I heard a lot about it. I took out a sabbatical. Let's call it a sabbatical from Toastmasters when I had my son
Okay.
because well, if you met him, you'd know why. You pay attention to him so that nothing, so he survives. And then when he was about 15, I came back to Toastmasters, and Club 59 was meeting somewhere that was not convenient to where I was.
Hmm.
And so I ended up joining Raconteurs.
Oh, okay. I remember them too.
And yeah, because I had heard about all the Club 59 people I knew were now in the Advanced Speakers Club.
Yeah.
So I joined the Advanced Speakers Club and Raconteurs. So and really it all started because of my friend Mike and his boss Suzanne. So and then I moved to Alberta where Barry Matthews
Hmm.
said you should join Wild Rose because he was a former Wild Rose member. So I went, oh, okay, and I joined Wild Rose, and my community club Narrators I joined because it was the closest club to my house, and they
Oh,
were nice.
well, there you go.
So it's a little circuitous, but it was all about people saying go there, and I went okay, and I went, and because their recommendations were good when I
Well, it's
stayed.
funny how that goes because I mean, like in my case, John Noonan was the one who suggested I get into Toastmasters. I met him through a business development network event, and I noticed on his business card he had the little NSA logo on it, and I knew what that was. And I said, "Hey, I want to become a professional speaker." And so he said to me, because he'd heard me speak, he said, "So have you heard of Toastmasters?" Nice way of saying you suck, but we can help. And I said, "No, I haven't." I actually told that story when I was keynoting the conference in Vancouver and embarrassed him, or not in Vancouver, in Calgary, and embarrassed him. But so I went and joined Toastmasters today, then Telecom Toastmasters, and then Ask,
Yep.
and then moved out here, and I just went right to Wild Rose because somebody I knew suggested here's a good advanced club, and I've been there now 20 almost 24 years.
Wow, it adds up pretty quickly.
It surprisingly it does, and again, like you, it's about the people. I
Yep.
told people, I've had people say, "Well, Bob, you've been a Toastmaster for like 34 years. Why?" And I tell them, I came initially because I wanted to learn to be a professional speaker and travel the world and all that kind of stuff. And by the time I get back from Europe, it'll be 81 countries. But I stayed because I got into leadership and I started really interacting with the people, and it's been that way ever since. That's to me, that's what it's about. It's the friendships, the relationships, and like I've jokingly said, I have friends all over the world. Some of them I've even met, you know. And well,
Yep.
that's the advantage of like Facebook and Zoom and whatever is connecting with people all over the world. And sometimes I finally get to their country and we get a face-to-face meeting. And, that's great. But, this is the thing. It's like with the Advanced Speakers Club, uh, was challenging for me. It was helpful for me because I was going for my accredited speaker. John already had it. Marg and I were working on it, and both of us spoke in San Diego. San Diego? Yeah, I think it was San Diego, or maybe it was anyway, wherever it was. She got it that year, I didn't, and a couple of years later, I got it. So, but again, it was the connection with those people that helped me move forward. Judy Johnson was one of those that helped me as well, and I look back at everything I've done, and it's people investing in my life. And
Yep.
Wild Rose has
And
continued to do that.
yeah, and I have to say I've invested in many. My roof was put on through a guy. He worked for a company, but I knew him through Toastmasters. So
Oh,
he was my roof guy, and then I went back to the same company, and they were then my window people. And my Toastmaster was going to be my real estate agent for when I sell my house, but
yeah,
he moved. But he sent me a guy. He gave me a guy, so we're meeting him in a couple of weeks. But I often will go to Toastmasters for people when I need something,
yeah.
because when I had a party at my house the other day, 95% of them were known through Toastmasters. And that's where all my friends are. And it really is, for me, it's about the people,
Yeah.
because you have a common interest that is not work. And there's so many different aspects to Toastmasters. You have different friends from different areas. And I think that's the part about it I like the most.
Mhm. Well, and for me, that's between Toastmasters and professional speakers. That's my two groups of friends. That's the people I like to hang out with, and that's the ones where I share and they share, and we all get better. It's kind of like a rising tide floats the boat kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so it's just fun. It's like with this concept of doing these interviews. I figure if nothing else, one of the reasons that I'm still involved in Wild Rose is the people. So why shouldn't I share that?
Yep,
Say, hey,
absolutely.
if you like this person I'm interviewing, come on down, come and meet her in person. So I get to market you as a way of marketing the club. How's that for something different?
Go for it.
Well, you never know. Somebody's going to relate to part of what you said and went, oh, maybe I should check this club out
Yep.
and take it from there. And I think that happens because I tell people when I'm talking to them, go visit a couple of clubs when you're just getting started. Find one that fits for you because every club has its own personality.
Yep.
And in our case, because we're an advanced club, we draw from people who are already Toastmasters, but they still need to see whether we're a good fit for them or not.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
in a lot of
Even
cases,
at
we are.
my, I always tell people you should visit a club 3 times,
Yeah,
because, and when I say the reason, and they go, why? I said, because every meeting is run by different people, because we rotate through the roles. And they're
exactly.
quite surprised. Oh, you're not always a Toastmaster? I said, no, that would be boring. The
Yeah,
goal is to try and do all the roles through the year.
yeah,
Like you maybe do a speech once every 3 months, your Toastmaster once every 4 months. And
yeah.
I said it's that rounding of experience that helps you grow and become a better speaker and leader. So,
Well, and I think that's part of the thing too. Then you get a sense of the character of the club too. So
hmm.
having been a member of Wild Rose for quite a few years now, what would you think are the advantage we give to people who want to up their game, so to speak?
I think part of it is, as an advanced club, we have internal expectations. So if you do a crappy job, you will hear about it. And and I think that's quite seriously. You might not hear about it. Your evaluator might be kinder, but
Yeah,
somebody's going to pull you over to the side and go, not didn't make it. Or some of your evaluation notes will tell you that. And I think we all know when we have phoned it in, so to
yeah,
speak. And when you don't get away with it, you're like, damn it, okay, I'm gonna have to work harder next time. And
yeah.
it's kind and effective assistance. And then you have people like our Rebecca who really wanted to, go up in the ranks, and she got a lot of support from within our club and ideas of how to do it and what to do and where to focus. And having people in our club who've been past international directors, if you want to go up the leadership ranking, I think it's really helpful to talk to people who have done that job. Dale, my husband, is not a Toastmaster, but is moving to a different site now. It's a remote site for work. And it's his retirement security job. He
Okay.
has no idea what he's going to do when he gets there, because they don't give you somebody to talk to. So when he gets there tomorrow, he'll find out what he's doing. All he
Really?
knows is he's getting on a plane, flying to Fox Lake, and he has a suitcase.
Wow, that's
And he
quite.
doesn't need steel tool boots. That's the only thing he knows about the
Okay.
place.
So that's a different
And
different
I,
kind of
I
job.
think in Toastmasters, the opposite of that is we say, this is what you can expect. So
Hmm.
you might have anxiety about speaking, you might have anxiety about being evaluated, but somebody can and will explain to you how the meeting flows, what the expectations are, how we work out afterwards.
Hmm.
And I think that's really important for allaying anxiety in everything. What do we expect?
Yeah.
When we went back in the office from working remotely, well, what do we do? Well, you go find a desk, sit down, plug in your computer and work. Okay. And that's really all it was. But I think for some reason we were expecting not an entrance plan, but almost an entrance, like,
Yeah.
this is open, this is closed, don't do this, don't do that. Basically our only rule is do not show up for office day if you're sick.
Oh,
Stay
okay.
home and cough on your own computer.
Well, there you go. That's probably good advice.
Hmm.
Although even there, some places, who was I talking? I was talking to somebody, and he said I think it was Glenn. He said that he had COVID, so did his wife, and she was going to go to work anyway because they didn't care. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
I keep getting my shots every 4 or 5 months. So
Yeah. Me
as long
too.
as I can get it, I'll keep getting it. Because in
Yeah.
my case, they're not looking for it now when you're traveling, but I don't want to get sick while I'm traveling.
Yeah.
I
And
got
my
it once
husband
when I
got it
returned.
up at camp, and he
Yeah,
came back and he was really sick. He was hospitalized for a week,
really.
and he was off work because he was the first week he was back. So he's hospitalized for that week. Then he got home and he was feeling like crap, and he
Yeah,
was too sick to go back to work. He didn't go back to work. I think he just said, I said, no, you're not going back to work,
good.
in a remote camp, forget it. And so he missed the next 2 weeks and then he went back and he was much fine. But he was really an
Yeah,
not happy camper when he was sick. Like
yeah.
it was, and part of it was COVID and part of it was an allergy reaction. And, he had the Swiss cheese of health crisis, right?
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, that's COVID
Well,
for you.
and you get it
It's still
everybody,
out there. People are still getting it and they're
and
still
that's
dying from it.
that's the whole point. Play it safe, take care of yourself,
Yeah.
and live to tell the story tomorrow.
Yeah. Because nobody
Okay.
else is going to take care of you if you don't take care of yourself.
And how many people don't understand that? That's the interesting thing is, and we're sidetracking off the Toastmaster thing, but Toastmasters is about helping people take care of themselves too, in terms of
Yeah.
knowing what you want, knowing where you want to go, asking people for help. Like in my
And,
case, like at
yeah.
the Advanced Speakers Club, if I was able to get Marg or Stevie Noonan to evaluate me, I knew I was going to get like a good, solid evaluation that would really help
Yeah.
move me forward.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
if we
the
talk
same thing
about
with John, but
and we talk about COVID,
yeah,
people spent a lot of time remoting, and we still have guests. We're starting to get more guests come to our meetings at my community club,
yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, in person, this is so different."
yeah,
And our club is going to be going to strict in person, and we're only just going to have a laptop if a member requests Zoom so that
okay,
they can participate to some degree. Because we found guests who had never been in person couldn't appreciate the nuances.
gotcha.
So if you want to be a guest, you got to show up in person. You want to be Zoom, you got to be a member, but we expect you to mostly show up. And that support is also like they come in and we greet them, and like we still do the fist bump in
Yeah,
narrators, and we try and set people up,
yeah.
a chair, lots of room around the chairs. And um, we always we have a snack, so you don't have to grab it with your hands. You've got tongs or a spoon, and everybody gets their own little plate. And
Yeah.
we use real cups.
Oh
So
my goodness.
I think even recovering from COVID in a social way, Toastmasters is helping that as well.
Yeah.
Getting people back into talking to people in person, because even doing speeches, when people were doing it online, you knew they had the words up on the side of the laptop because you could see their eyes go over there. And now you can't do that. If you're looking at your notes, we see you looking at your notes
We
because you're
can
right in
tell.
front of us.
Well,
Yeah.
and again, that's the thing. Depending on what you're doing, I mean, that was for me, like when I was going through the accredited speaker, what helped me probably the most was when I had the opportunity to speak to larger crowds,
Hmm.
because that was comparable. Like when Marg and I did the first one, there was like 800 people in the audience.
Yep.
And now on average is about 300 or 400. But back then that was about 800. And if you're just doing 15 or 20 people at a club level, that's not the same environment. It's not the same energy. It's not the same movements.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
so you need something that creates that. Moving through the leadership helped me because in speaking at the conferences, again, there was 200 or 300 people. So I got more comfortable speaking in front of larger audiences, which eventually helped me get it. And
Yep.
again, that was something that both Ask helped. And then when I moved into my career and moved here, you know, Wild Rose has been really helpful for me. Very often, if I'm doing a speech overseas somewhere, I'll try it out at the club. Like I think two of the three times I spoke in Paris, I tried out the speech at Wild Rose and
Yep.
got some
I
feedback
remember that.
before I got there. And that helped me be a better speaker. So
We've
that's part of the thing is whatever you need, we can help you.
And even we've had two members and narrators who came kind of shell shocked. They're introverts, they don't like public speaking. And in both cases, their boss said, I'm doing a presentation at a conference. It's 45 minutes. It's about this. By the way, you're doing it for me. Have a good time. Let me see your draft. And one woman was absolutely terrified. And
Yeah,
she was a guest for 3 months before she decided to sign up. And by the end of her tenure with our club,
yeah,
she was a president. She did some rules. She
yeah.
got her competent communicator. And when I talk to her now, because she's one of the people that is invited to my party, she was saying without Toastmasters, she wouldn't have survived some of the interviews
Oh, I know.
because table topics helped her. And for the young man who came, he's a engineer for a production facility, and that's his boss said join Toastmasters, but and then like 2 weeks later you're doing the speech for me.
Oh
He
my,
had to present a 45-minute speech on their technical whatever it is they do
yeah,
in a room that where he had like a 6-inch stage, and
yeah.
the room had wings. So
Oh,
there's and he had so we had him do a speech about what it was like to do the speech.
yeah,
And he said he was nervous, but once he started, he was okay because he knew his stuff, right? But
yeah,
he said without Toastmasters, he would not have survived. And that's another thing I've met a lot of people who are in Toastmasters because of their boss. And
yeah,
then their boss says to them, you're doing a presentation at a conference. And Dave Rodwell, a past member, once said he asked somebody, why did you join Toastmasters, or what do you get out of Toastmasters? And the guy just looked at him and said, 30,000 a year. And this was a long time ago. What do you mean? Well, I joined my Toastmasters club to be better at speaking at meetings. And because I was in Toastmasters, I was asked to make a presentation. Once I made a presentation, I was asked to do all the presentations, let Mikey do it. And he said, because I was doing the presentations, I got known and I got confident. I've had several promotions. People I worked with are still in the same spot.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's the confidence and the experience that people get out of it, and it helps their careers.
there you go. There's one more reason. Well, I want to thank you for taking some time with us.
No problem. And I apologize for being late.
No problem. I'll just close off here and then we can go. But I just want to remind people that are watching this that Wild Rose meets the last Thursday of the month, except for June and December, where we adjust our dates because of holidays. So come and visit us. Come get to know Inger in person. Come and have some fun and perhaps become a member of this club.